Welcome, everybody. Welcome to QPAC Live, a program of the Queensborough Performing Arts Center located on the campus of Queensborough Community College in Queens, New York. How are you tonight? Can you believe that it's Thursday night again? I I I just blinked my eyes and I'm here with you again to celebrate the arts. I mean, we come to you every week to celebrate the arts with programs that are unique and exciting. And tonight is no exception. You see, he plays the guitar, she plays the cello. And when they come together, it is nothing short of fireworks. And tonight, you're going to get to see some of that. But first, I wanted to just chat with you a little bit, find out how everybody is doing. You know, one of the things that we love about this program is that it's interactive. And so if you'd like, you can just go ahead and type your comments or questions right below the broadcast, and that's the way that we could communicate with you. We could answer your questions, your comments, and so forth. We've got so many of our friends here with us tonight. Rosemary, good evening. We're happy you're here joining us. Lisa, good evening. And Vinny, Peter is here all the way from the Netherlands. Well, good morning to you, Peter. So again, one of the things that makes this so much fun is that we're interactive. So if you have a comment or a question, please go ahead and type it right below the broadcast. We are on YouTube tonight. So if you do want to comment, you do have to have a name and password. And you could also watch us now anytime you want on our very own website, www.visitqpac, that's QPAC right behind me, QPAC.org. And you'll see when you go onto the website, you'll see a button that says watch. Click that button and you'll be watching the latest episode of QPAC Live. Now, I wanted to just mention, of course, that as places are beginning to open up, well, so is QPAC. This summer, we held some wonderful outdoor concerts. It was a 5-part concert series. And I must tell you, it was really life affirming. We had a great time. It was so wonderful seeing so many of you there in person, smiling and dancing and soaking up that glorious music. And so we are going to continue to open up, if you will. And this spring, which, believe it or not, before you know it, will be here, we will be opening up the theater, but not just the old theater or any old theater, but our very new and beautiful theater. I hope you will join us. We have protocols in place to keep everyone as safe as possible. And if you'd like, you could go onto our website, and right there on the homepage, it will show our COVID protocol. So you can get a sense of what to expect when you do come to the theater. Tickets will go on sale very soon for the shows we're offering in the spring. For example, let me give you an idea. I'm going to take out my picture just for a minute. And we have the great Melissa Manchester coming to the theater, and she'll sing, of course, all of her Grammy Award winning songs and plus so many others. And we've got the fabulous Modern Gentleman. Wait. No. Rosemary, you know who that is. That's our dear friend Rosemary, as she's being serenaded by the fabulous Texas tenors. But we have the Modern Gentlemen coming to the theater this spring, who are just exceptional. These 4 fellows toured the world with Frankie Valli as the Four Seasons. They were the Four Seasons, and now they're traveling out on their own. And their show is just exceptional. They cover a tremendous amount of material. So we'll have with us the Modern Gentlemen and so many other fabulous shows. Also, just to let you know that this Saturday starts our fabulous Gotta Dance program for the kids ages 8 to 14. if you know anybody who'd like to join in on the fun, this is a virtual program. You can hop right onto our website and register, www.visitqpac.org, and it is $10, just $10 a session. It will run for 5 sessions beginning this Saturday. The kids have a really terrific time. So if you know somebody who'd like to join in on the fun, do encourage them to join us. And I'm back. So that's all I've got for you tonight. By the way, have you been with us for our crazy Name That Tune nights? We have such a blast. DJ Bucciarelli runs the show. And well, each time we're together, it's a different theme. Little Name That Tune, a little bingo. Let me just give you a quick look at the craziness. Okay, here you go.
Name That Tune, sponsored by the Queensboro Performing Arts Center, is a very real, absolutely live, interactive virtual game show coming to you every other Tuesday. Hosted by DJ Bucciarelli, Name That Tune is entirely free, and you can win very real prizes. Check out the Queensboro Performing Arts Center on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and of course on their website. Visit www.visitqpac.org for more info.
Did I tell you crazy? I am telling you, we never know what's going to happen. You talk about live theater. Well, this is live too. And anything that can happen usually does. But we have a ball. And so I do hope you join us. That will take place in 2 weeks on Tuesday night. In fact, if you go onto our website and you click virtual events, you'll see all of the fabulous things coming up. We have the fabulous Robert Klein, the comedian, the legendary comedian coming up. In fact, he'll be here on Thursday, the 21st, just 2 weeks from today at 7 o'clock. And boy, is he a riot. You'll want to tune in for that too. So now, without further ado, I am so excited. As I said, she plays the cello. He plays the guitar. They're married. And boy, do they have stories to tell us. Help me welcome Acoustic Eidlon, and Hannah and Joe. Come on in, you guys.
Hello, good to see you. Thanks for having us.
Of course. We're so happy to have you back with us again. Now, you gave us a little sneak peek at what you do this past year. Of course, we were virtual all year long,
Right.
and we did a really fun New Year's Day concert. It was a virtual-a-thon, if you will, for QPAC, and you came on with us, and we had such great fun. We had to have you back because we needed to hear more of what you do and more about who you are. First of all, can you tell me what exactly does your name mean?
So our name is a word that we found in the dictionary. It's not where maybe most people go looking for their names, but we did. And we found this word Eidlon, and it means ideal or visual image. And we thought, well, that should work. We didn't realize, it had other sort of another side, sort of a darker gaming side to it or something that would transpire. And there was also a punk thrash band out of Boston named Eidlon. So then we changed our name to Acoustic Eidlon.
Must there be any confusion?
Yeah, and if we were all in the same festival, we'd come first.
Well, that's true. That's a fabulous thing. Now, let me ask you: was for each of you, was music your first loves, or was there something else? For example, did you love arts and crafts and then turn to music? Did you love roller skating and then turn to, or was it always music from the very get go?
For me, it's always been music. I started at 12 playing the guitar, 14 playing the banjo of all things. And then I knew it's all I've ever done. It's all I've been able to do. The only thing I'm qualified to do is to play music. So it's been an awesome, awesome journey. So what made you think?
Yeah, and for me, it was love as a little kid too. I had a musical family as well. And so I started piano at 4. And then my parents would take my sister and myself to concerts. And they took us to, I don't know, a concert, and the cello section took the melody of whatever piece they were playing. And I just felt like my heart went right with them. You know, that sound, it just drew me. And I was 8 years old. And I sat my parents down that night. I was probably supposed to be in bed. And and I just said, I have to play the cello. And I mean, to their credit, they took me seriously. They rented me a cello and they said, if you practice, we'll buy you a little tiny half-size cello. And I was on my way. So it was, yeah, absolute love.
That's terrific. Now, you mentioned, of course, with your family's encouragement, you both have. Do you both have musical families?
Yes, Hannah more so than me, but I have a brother who played, my dad played, but I'm the only one who went on to do it as a lifetime career. So.
Yeah. And I was lucky. I mean, my mom taught us to read music before or as we were learning to speak. I mean, it was just, I didn't realize that not everybody could read music. I mean, I just didn't know that I was even learning it. And I had my grandparents on my dad's side had a music business for decades and in Easton, Pennsylvania. And so they were musicians as well and performed and taught and composed and all that stuff. So I got it kind of fair and square, and Joe truly forged his way. It was amazing.
Well, we have so much to talk about because I've watched so many of your videos. You perform in cars. Yes, everyone, cars.
I did.
I mean, they perform rock and roll in cars, and in caves.
Yes.
There must be something with the sea, cars, caves.
Yeah, right.
I've also seen you performing on mountaintops.
Yep.
You're really fearless, which is I just find that so much fun. And of course, and then we want to hear the story of how Joe and Hannah met, and it kind of makes me giggle, and I'll tell you why later. So for our friends and family and viewers out there, we're going to give you a sampling of the great duo Acoustic Eidlon, and then we'll be back to answer some of my questions and some of your questions as well. So I'm turning it over to you. Here we go.
It's good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Susan. Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome. We are here in our recording studio in a little town in Colorado, Berthoud, Colorado, just north of Boulder. And we're going to do just a few tunes for you here so you get used to our music. We tour the U.S. and Europe annually, and those travels really influence our sound. So we're going to do an original Celtic piece of ours. This is about a fishing village in Scotland. It's a beautiful place called Stonehaven. Thank you so very much.
Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, and I notice a lot of you are looking up here wondering what this weird instrument is. Well, that's a cello, if you were wondering. But actually, this double neck instruments that I play, I'm going to tell you during our Q&A in a little bit shortly here. I'll tell you all about it. I'll even give you a little lesson on it to help you understand it better. So, but right now we're going to do an old Simon and Garfunkel tune for you. I think you might recognize this classic. Thank you so very much.
Thanks for being out there. Thank you to Peter in the Netherlands for joining us. Have fun. So we'd like to take you somewhere far from Colorado, far from even Queensboro, New York, and we're going to take you up to the very tippy top of Alaska with this next song. And this is an original piece that we wrote because it's inspired by my great grandfather. His name was Charles Brower, and he wrote a book called 50 Years Below Zero, and that book was about his life. He went up as a young man on a whaling ship up to the very tippy top of Alaska, where it became Barrow, the town of Barrow, Alaska. And they dropped him off up there with a lumber pack and a buddy. And they said, okay, here's the deal. You build a whaling station and survive the winter. So good luck with that part. And then they said, and we will come back and check on you about next August or so, when the ice should melt enough to allow on the sea, to let a ship come in. We'll come and check on you. So they did. And he was still there. He built the whaling station. He fell in love with the land and the people, and he stayed for the rest of his life. And that's where the title 50 Years Below Zero came from. And so he married an Inupiaq woman named Nacharona, and their first daughter was my great-grandmother. And I'm named after both of those women. And so a couple of years ago, right before everything shut down, my son and I took a mom-son trip up to Barrow, to what has now gone back to its Inupiaq name of Utqiagvik. So if you think Eidlon is hard to remember how to pronounce, it took a lot of coaching for me to learn Utqiagvik. So anyway, we went up there, and we finally got to meet this whole branch of our family up there that we'd always known about and never met in person. And it was such a powerful, life-changing experience to connect with these people and with our family and find all these threads of things that we have in common and have been passed down through us without us even realizing. And so when we came back from that with our Inupiaq names and everything, I realized that it was time to write this song. So this is the song called 50 Years Below Zero that tells about my great-grandfather, Nacharona, and our story getting to finally tie in to those lines. So here we go. I hear stories of the land blown across the icy sea, rising over time, bringing you back to me. Now I'm moving through the storms, chasing away the night. Our fire, skin, and dreams, remembering the light. 50 years below zero, your stories dance in my heart. Icy shores, midnight sun, the courage is the force, and your ways carry on. A whaling ship became a young man chasing dreams. He forged a bridge of souls in the station by the sea. He listened to their ways. He learned to sing their songs. They taught him all he knows. He stay strong. 50 years below zero. Your story is dancing my heart. Icy shores, midnight sun. Your courage is the force and your ways carry on. He promised to return, but 2 long years crawled by. She thought the sea had won and moved closer to the sky. The wind had freeze his tears, so she turned back to the land. There she carved her life from feathers, bones, and sand. All those years below zero, the stories sing in my blood. Icy shores, midnight sun. Your courage is the force and your ways carry Remember being our stories. We must listen to the land. Illuminate my core. Take me by the hand. Sisters of the sun, the fires that light the night. Dancing with the drums, hearts that will ignite. 50 years below zero, your stories sing in my blood. Icy shores, midnight sun. Your courage is the force and your ways. All those years below zero, your stories dance in my heart. Ancient shores, midnight beauty. Your courage is the force and your ways carry Thank you
so very much.
You might have to grab a sweater around a song like that. You can kind of hear those north winds coming through. So yeah. So let's see, we'll bring you back closer to home with this next piece. This one originated in Canada. It's a Joni Mitchell tune. And so we decided to cover her Both Sides Now. And we just fell in love with this song. And so you're welcome to sing along with us. We would do this even if we were live, invite you to sing with us. But here you are remote. You might even be in PJs. You got, just
make a joyful noise.
Yeah, I mean, this is your chance. So we'll all sing this one together. I just have to warn you that because this piece is a Canadian song, and that means that there's a French version of it. So just saying, one of the verses might be in French. So when we get to that one, good luck. You got this. Here we go. Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now. alors. J'ai voulu laisser mon cœur danser la danse du bonheur. J'ai cru que l'amour était né dans un conte de fées. Mais aujourd'hui, je sais qu'il faut souvent quitter un lit trop chaud en souriant pour bien cacher tout ce qu'on a donné. J'ai vu la nuit de côté, 6 jours de gloire, de vérité. Et c'est bien triste de penser que je n'ai rien appris du Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. But now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know why. J'ai vu la vie de côté, 6 jours de gloire, de vérité. Et c'est bien triste de penser que je n'ai rien appris du tout.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Benza.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. We have one more tune for you, and then I believe after that, Susan's going to come back on, and we're going to do a little more Q&A for you. So be thinking about any interesting questions like what shoes, what style of shoe do I wear? Any of those kind of questions are always pretty important. But thank you so very much for tuning in, for listening. We're quite pleased and honored that you would do so.
We are. We're thrilled to be back on the QPAC with QPAC and with Susan. This is just such a treat for us, and yeah.
Well, we're hoping we can come and perform for you in person in the not too distant future. That would be awesome. We are back out doing tours now, so that's a wonderful, wonderful development here recently. But we hope you all stay very healthy and safe. And we're going to leave you with another original Celtic piece of ours. This is a piece called "The Calling of the Moor." I'm the one who climbed the mountain, I'm the one who held the sea. I'm the one who tamed the thunder, now I call. You are the one who breaks the dawn, you are the one who comes to see. You are the one who gives me hope, and your touch has set me. It calls out to me, but I've been with the wind. My soul wanders free, still he calls me again. His strength is fast, and his hand reaches far. And my heart sings along, still he calls me I'm the one who climbed the mountain, I'm the one who battled the sea. I'm the one who tamed the thunder, now I call. You're the one who brings the dawn, you are the one who comes to see. You are the one who gives me hope, and your touch has set me. It calls out to me, but I've been with the wind. My soul wanders free, still he calls me again. His strength is fast, and his hand reaches far. And my heart sings along, still he calls me again.
Yay! Yay! We can see you. Thank you so much. How beautiful, 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 beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, first of all, you must make me a promise. I think, do you hear a little echo on your end or no?
We do not, but
No, I think we're okay now. Yep. Okay, good. You must make me a promise.
Yes.
You must listen to the music from a show called Rags, Rags.
okay.
Rags is like the sequel to the Broadway musical Fiddler on the Roof. You've heard of Fiddler on the Roof, of course.
Yeah.
So Fiddler on the Roof, and what happens in that musical is that they leave where they're from and they go to America. And so Rags is about all the immigrants coming to America.
Yeah.
The music is haunting and beautiful. And I could just hear the two of you playing some of these pieces. You must promise me, because
Okay.
there's a song called The Summer the summer's a summer night, or the summer's night, and there are a few pieces in there that would sound so sweet on your instruments. I just must hear them. Okay, so
Okay.
that's the first thing I had to say.
We'll check it out.
Right.
Rags, 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 rags.
We're always looking. We
Yeah,
do a lot
'cause
of original, but we're always looking
we want
for other
inspiration.
material. Exactly.
I'm telling you, this is going to be, you're going to really love it. And then not only that, Hannah, you have a beautiful voice. Your voice is clear and piercing. I'm trying to think of it reminds me of, there's a girls group. There are
Oh yeah.
three, you know what I'm talking about? The three girls who sing like angels.
Hmm.
Do you know that group or the name of that group? Vinny, do you know that? I'm asking
They have a
my,
lot of stuff on
Knows.
YouTube, right?
Yeah,
I think
we
I
can
know who you're
check it
talking
out.
about.
I
Yeah.
feel like
they sing like angels, and their voices are so clear and crisp. And
hmm.
that's what we hear from Hannah. So it's really quite haunting in a beautiful, beautiful way. So thank you for that. Vinny's right. Vinny also says the music from the show Once,
Oh yeah,
ONC.
we're familiar with
That
that. We've
yes,
seen that
that,
movie.
and
Mhm.
we've actually thought of covering the theme to that. You know that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
composed.
Yes,
That would
yes,
phenomenal.
because now we're all feeling inspired because
I
of you.
know.
Yeah.
So,
So
so now hold on because I'm going to get to a question that one of our viewers had.
okay.
I'm just looking now. I saw it. Okay, so Rosemary wants to know. It's right up there. She wants to know what was the first song you played together, and who does the arrangement. Thank you, Rosemary.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Wow.
Well, Joe's the arranger guy. This is his superpower. One of them. He's got several.
This is his superpower.
Yeah, it is.
Well, the very first song, which actually ties in, you had asked earlier, Susan, about how we met. So we can tell you that because that ties in with the first song we ever played together.
Yeah.
Is that
Fabulous.
It
Sure.
actually is. So years ago, back when I was starting to take the cello outside the classical world, I was just throwing myself off the deep end into all different settings and open blues mic nights and rock and roll bands and a funk hip hop band and I mean just everything. And as part of that world and getting the experience, I believed that the cello was like a voice, and so it took me into the studio work with the cello. And so I got a call from a group in Boulder back in the 90s saying we would love cello on our CD. And I said, great, give me directions to the studio from Boulder, because I lived north and west and out in the country, and I didn't live near a town or anything at that time. And so they're giving me directions, and they're kind of coming my general direction, and then they're coming up my country road with these directions, and then they're coming down my street. And it turns out that across the street from me and 3 houses away was Joe. And it was his recording studio, and he was producing this group. And so I walked my cello over to his house and said, hi, I'm your neighbor. And we
I had never met before.
we had never met. And so that was I played this studio session, and then Joe had me in for other studio work that he would have for other groups he was working with. And then fast forward to about
1998.
Yeah. Then he called me up and he goes, okay, so I want to hear the cello with this double neck guitar of mine, because I just love the cello.
Which was a good line.
Yeah, it was.
Great line.
Great line. And it worked because I said, well, come on over to my house this time. He had the studio, but I said, well, just come over this. And so he came driving over to my house, all 3 houses away, could I just say. But it was snowing pretty hard. We were having a blizzard. And we sat down and played the first song that he ever wrote for the double neck guitar
Yeah,
to
exactly.
get Joe.
Which was actually a song for my son, who when I wrote it, he was just about 1 year old. And A Song for Alex was the name of the tune, which if you go on our website and on our store, you can actually listen to that,
yeah.
A snippet of that. So yeah, A Song for Alex, an original line. And I just loved the cello. And I thought the combination of that and the guitar and hearing Hannah for that first time play the cello on a melody that I had written, I was just smitten and just like, wow. We decided right then and there to actually start
Clear out
Acoustic
our
Eidlon.
lives.
That was in 1998.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, I have to chuckle because there is a song that is very well associated with Liza Minnelli.
Hmm.
But and I've in a past life I've performed this song, but the song is about this gal who travels around the world to meet the guy next door.
No, yeah.
And when I read your story, because of course I always do my homework, my research,
Mhm.
and when I read your story, I just found myself giggling out loud. And so listen, I'm creating for you a song list. I hope you know.
Hey,
I'm
that's good.
creating So we've got Rags, we've got Once, but now you've got to listen to Liza Minnelli sing the song Ring Them Bells. It's called Ring Them Bells.
Okay.
And she talks about, being single, and she goes to, Dubrovnik, and anyway, and she ends up meeting the guy next door. So that is, I just can't get over.
I know we feel very
I love it.
fortunate. It's
And truly, and Joe, I felt like I had him by the back of the collar, because he was kind of like, he was in a musical transition. And so he was kind of ready to leave Colorado. I'm like, no. So yeah, he never left. But I just,
Joe, please. Yeah,
it was important.
that is so great. Joe, you must tell us now about that two-necked
yeah. So
guitar, please.
so I grew up playing 5-string bluegrass banjo as well as guitar. So in '91, I went to a fabulous guitar builder here in Colorado, Denny Stevens, and I told him I'd like you to build me a guitar with 2 necks, and I wanted the bottom neck here strung like a 5-string banjo. So those first 5 strings are the same. But I had him add 2 additional melody strings for a total of 7. I had him string the upper neck like a traditional guitar, but I had him add an extra bass note for its 7th string. So there's 14 strings. So this is really just a custom double neck. I call it my 14-string double neck Gitjo. It's also affectionately known around the world as Dos Neckies for all you beer drinkers. And then I developed this technique where I play melody notes with my right hand on the bottom strings. And because of the way that's strung in tune, it gives me all those melody notes open. But that frees up my left hand then to pick bass notes and chords on the upper strings here. You can pick a string instrument with your left hand or your right hand. So bass notes and chords here, melody here. All right, I'm hoping that makes sense. And when you put it all together, it sounds a little bit like.
Love that song. It's so beautiful. I mean, that's really why it's interesting, because when you were playing, I felt like I was hearing more than 2 instruments.
Yeah.
And that could have been the reason for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love, there was just so much magic in the combination of these instruments, because he's so much more percussive as a guitar and more chordal. And then I'm melody driven and more vocal with just the cello. I wasn't singing in the beginning of Acoustic Eidlon either. So it just started with just the blend of these instruments. And I just loved that Joe was, like Peter says, he was a one-man band. Like he had it all covered. And yet I was taking a very, very traditional instrument and coming outside the box to meet him. And it was part of, I think, what inspired both of us from the beginning to just keep delving. It felt like there was a lifetime of music in these instruments that we would never quite reach all the bottom of, which is great.
Well, and yeah.
Tell me what is, Joe, I want to know what your favorite cover is to play. And Hannah, what's your favorite cover to play?
Okay.
Well, we have several. It used to be Stairway to Heaven. We do an instrumental rendition of that. But more recently, on our 12th CD, we did an instrumental arrangement of Bohemian Rhapsody. And so we have we're covering almost all the parts in the same key, same everything as Queen. And it was a bear to arrange and to work out, but man, is it a blast to play. So
Queen
I think
was our
Bohemian,
scratch track.
yeah, I think Bohemian right now is my favorite.
Wow.
It's and then for me,
and you had,
and so my favorite is we just released our 13th CD, which is called Remembering the Sun, and it's
is this the one where your sons are playing on with you? What instruments do they do? Is it one son or 2?
Well, Alex plays a little keyboards on it, bass on it, and percussion on it. And then Zach, our
Zach is
youngest
my
son,
son.
he
Our-
plays,
we
he
blended them.
sings, he's singing vocals on
Yeah.
like Hallelujah.
He's doing
and,
harmony vocals.
Remembering the
So
Song.
that's my favorite cover is off of that one. I did Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, and we came up with a very different arrangement of it, and that's my favorite right now. Yeah.
It's beautiful. I heard you sing it. I watched the YouTube video of it. Folks, you want to hear a beautiful version of that song, get on YouTube and type in, and
Yeah,
it's really
Acoustic Eidlon,
breathtaking.
our channel, and then it's we shot it uphill in the mountains when the aspen were
In
turned.
well, there you go again. You went on. No, when
We
she says in the mountains, she means standing on top of a mountain.
Right.
But my favorite, I'll tell you, my favorite videos are you in the car because I mean you need room to do that. So you're in the back seat, Hannah, with your cello, and then Joe is on in the front seat with his guitars. And Joe, how many guitars do you have?
Well, that's a loaded question. They're all over. I do have a lot, partly because half of my guitars are Hannah's grandfather's guitars, and they're old Martins and
Oh.
Gibsons. And so, but on tour, I bring two double necks, two regular guitars, and an ukulele. And so, but I don't know, maybe 15 guitars or so, but all told in the 20s probably.
I hope that they all get their fair, share of your attention.
They do, and the reason is they all get used on our record. Even if they don't come on tour with us, they get used on our recordings, and I have mandolins, and yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I have just one more question for you. This has been fascinating, and I am sure that you've made some new fans tonight. Why don't you tell folks the name of your website, and also do you have do you have a Venmo or a PayPal if anybody wants to drop you a tip from tonight?
We do. We have both Venmo and PayPal, and acousticeidlon.com. And so luckily it's our little name badge on our screen, so you can actually spell the word that we chose out of the dictionary that nobody can spell. Nobody can say, what were we thinking? But
Well, that's what makes it so unique. That's
yeah,
what makes it so
if you lose all of those threads, just Google Joe and Hannah and guitar and cello, that'll come up too.
Right.
But yeah, so acousticeidlon.com is our website where we have CDs, tour schedule, all that kind of stuff. You can go on YouTube under Acoustic Eidlon or all of the
Tons
social
of
media.
videos, yeah.
And folks, if you felt inspired tonight, and if you continue to feel inspired, if you are able to drop QPAC a small donation, every penny counts, and I could assure you that it goes a long way toward opening our doors, keeping our doors open, and also being able to continue with this free programming during this different, shall we say, different time in
Yeah.
our lives. And I want to thank all of you for joining us. We've had a ball tonight. Last question for you. What is the criteria for a song you cover? In other words, is there a song that you just absolutely would not even try to cover?
I think first and foremost, it's a song we have to like. And, it can't just be, oh, let's do that because it's popular and everybody's doing it. So, and it has to have a lot of interest because typically when we do covers that be like Bohemian Rhapsody, we do them instrumentally. And so it has to have a strong melody, strong chord progression, very, very interesting so that it gives us some substance. If it's just
to work with,
it just has to be strong melodically and all that. And then we just take it and we just make it our own as best we can.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But a lot of times we have such wide tastes of music between us, among us, all two of us. Anyway, that it just, anything that grabs us, we almost have to try it and see if we can find the arrangement to weave our way into it. And because we get inspired by all kinds of things, and it's
I want to hear, I want to hear the folk songs done by the two of you. I mean, there's just so, I'm sort of making my own playlist for you, but I do hope we could have you back. I hope we could have you back in person. And what a great
Love that.
time that would be. Tracy says, what a great way to end a stressful day.
Hey,
Tracy, you are not kidding. It just took us all sort of down a notch in a good way. So thank you all for joining us. Next up, let's see. Oh, we have Broadway's composer Michael Holland. That's next Thursday. He's going to tell us all about arranging music for the Broadway stage, and he's a master of mashups. So do join us next Thursday, and then on the 19th, Tuesday, we have Name That Tune, and the fun just keeps on coming. So if you're on YouTube tonight, do make sure that you follow us, you subscribe to our channel. And Peter, thank you for coming from such a long way. I want to
Yes.
give a special thank you, of course, to Hannah and Joan, Acoustic, Eidlon.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much. Folks, have a great evening. We'll
Great.
see you back here very soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Susan, for everything you do too. You're a power, and thank you.
Thank you.
For being out
My
there.
pleasure.
Yeah.
See you soon.